Hello, I'm out and about on a Royal Enfield Hunter 350 today. Nice pan-European there. Used to own one of them years ago. Lovely bike. Bit heavy, but nice nonetheless. I've only got the Hunter for a couple of days, so it's not a review as such. I mean, there's hundreds of them online anyway, so I've missed the boat on that one. But it's just some musings, really. Yeah, some musings on the bike. My Meteor 350 is in for its first service. 300 miles of pure joy. And AMR Motorcycles, where I bought it from, that's just outside of Glasgow, kindly loaned me this for a couple of days. I say pure joy. Running a bike in at under 40 miles an hour is not exactly joy, but you get my point. Not exactly sure why I pulled in here, but I did. Not even sure where I'm going, to be honest. Now there's a proper Scotsman. I think Royal Enfield have come on massively in recent years in terms of model range and reliability, and I don't think the Hunter is any exception to that. I think I'm rapidly turning into a Royal Enfield fanboy. Every time I go to a Royal Enfield dealer now, I end up buying a £20 t-shirt, a t-shirt I don't really need, but there you go. It did occur to me that I took virtually no footage of the bike other than riding it, so there's a couple of photos on screen. Even got my ugly mug. It took me hours to work out how to do that. I have the editing skills of a baboon. Just heading into my little favourite cafe up here, called Crafts and Things. Best breakfast in Scotland, in my humble opinion. Look at that. Just passing the Glencoe Mountain Rescue Service, where idiots like me who climb mountains all too regularly get out the depth and sometimes get stuck. If you haven't switched off already, and I wouldn't blame you, I am going to get on to talking about the Hunter 350. I just end up rambling at times. Just bear with me. So the Hunter 350, well, any bike for that matter, if I'm ever considering getting a bike, you know, there's various things I kind of think of. You know, the looks of the bike, is it reliable, how practical it is, obviously the cost, and the all-important fun factor. Just making my way down to Kinlochleven, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I know looks is a very subjective thing, but the Hunter, I just really like the look of that bike. It reminds me of an old school Triumph Bonneville, or a bike straight from the 1980s. I was looking around the bike a little earlier, and the fit and finish all looks good. All the welds on the frame look acceptable. The engine casings look quality. And just the overall look of the bike, it just looks superb in my opinion. Somebody on a mobility scooter, might burn him off later. Then there's the subject of reliability. I think years gone by, Royal Enfield may have had a bit of an iffy reputation when it comes to that. I don't think that's the case anymore though, and I think Royal Enfield is as reliable as any other bike, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, going off the forums and rider reviews of the Hunter, it's all pretty positive stuff when it comes to reliability. I mean, of course, like any other bike, you're going to have the odd issue here and there. That's just life. I mean, my last two bikes, for example, have both been BMWs. I had a RT 1250, which I sold last year. Prior to that, I had a GS 1200. Both the BMWs, fantastic bikes for what they were, but they both ended up with seized shaft drives. In fairness to BMW, it was all sorted under warranty. But the point is, I mean, they are like nigh on 20 grand motorbikes compared to the Hunter, which is what, 4 grand ish in the UK. I guess the upshot is that I would have no hesitation in buying one. That's the basic truth. One thing I've found today about being on the Hunter is I'm enjoying it so much. I tend to ride more, explore more, and the more you explore, then you find little beautiful spots like this, so you end up stopping more. But hey, I'm happy, and this is beautiful. Loch Leven, if I'm pronouncing it right. And next on my list of prerequisites when considering buying a bike is cost of the bike. So for just over 4 grand, in the UK that is, will get you a brand spanking new Hunter 350 with a 3-year warranty. And as I said earlier, because of the good build quality I perceive on this bike, plus it's an unlimited mileage on the warranty, that really adds up to very good value for money. Insurance on the bike is reasonable-ish, and service costs, while not extortionate, if you have a dealer service, then yeah, it's probably comparable to other manufacturers. But the beauty of this bike is because it's a very simple engine, or relatively simple, you're more inclined, even with basic mechanical nous, to do more of the maintenance yourself. I'm not entirely sure how Royal Enfield produce such a good product at such a good price, but they do. And as a consumer, that's very good news indeed. Everything I've said so far about the Hunter has been largely positive. The only real thing I've seen of any sort of negativity about the bike is engine performance. Now, I don't really get that, to be honest. I mean, it's a 350cc single. Before you even consider buying it, you know what you're getting. You're getting a simple air-cooled engine, 20 brake horsepower. Now, I'm about, 14.5 stone, give or take. Fatty. But roads like this, I've never felt wanting in terms of engine performance. I mean, I can scoot along here 50 miles an hour, and that's fast enough on these roads. It really is. When I picked the bike up yesterday, I had a very short stretch of motorway I had to do. It was literally 2 or 3 miles. And yes, I guess, if I'm being totally honest, it does lack a little bit on the motorways, and I struggle to get the bike up to sort of 60, 65 miles an hour. But I don't really care about that. If you want a big motorbike cruiser, then maybe this isn't the bike for you. You'll often see in some motorbike reviews the term practical. Is the bike a practical bike? I mean, what does that mean, practicability? I mean, to me, it's fitting the needs of a particular situation in a helpful way. So first off, I'll be thinking things like how easy the bike is to move around. I mean, the bike's weight is roughly 180 kilograms, give or take. In comparison to something like the new Triumph 400s, that's about 170 kilograms. So, you know, it's pretty lightweight. Stuck behind a stinky camper van here. In other words, it's pretty easy to move around, really. Obviously, comfort is vitally important. I mean, I've been riding today pretty much most of the day so far. Done, I don't know, 160, 170 miles, and, well, my arse isn't sore, put it that way. I could do a lot more than I've already done. For commuting, as I've already said, comfortable bike, very frugal on petrol. I think it would be the ideal commuter bike to and from work. As for touring, I would have absolutely no qualms about going away for a few weeks doing big mileages on this thing. Really wouldn't. I think it would be an absolute blast, to be honest. So I think I've answered my own question there. Is it a practical bike? It certainly is. And to finish off in what I would like out of a bike is the all-important fun factor. Like I said, I've only had it for a couple of days, but to be honest, I'm loath to give it back. Put it this way, if I hadn't just bought the Meteor, I would buy one of these like a shot. It's just a good traditional type motorbike. I mean, it's great fun, and it basically makes me want to ride more. The ultimate compliment I could give it, really, is looking back to the 1980s when I was a teenager and I owned a Yamaha RD 250LC, and I remember fondly the fun times I had on that thing. And I'm kind of back there, sort of a few decades later. I'm enjoying motorbiking like I haven't done in years. Well, that's it. I will finish off. I did say at the start of the video that I was rapidly turning into a Royal Enfield fanboy. Well, I'm not turning into it, I am now it. I am definitely a fanboy. I'm not ashamed of it.